Welcome everyone to another adventure into reality. This is our last show of the year. Yay. Oh my Lord, another year done. And what a year it's been. And because this is the last show, I'm looking for the geniuses who have learned something from a year of listening to shows. Even if you're a new person and like to share what you've learned over this time with me. Now, unless some earth-shattering things happen, which I think nothing will happen, especially on the 21st, because I know I'm about to get asked this 25,000 times between now and the 21st of December, nothing is happening. But if something strange and unusual should happen, I will come on air. Go ahead and spin up that wheel of callers and see who wants to come in and have a conversation with me.
All right. I'm going to stick with sort of the holiday feeling. Bambi, signal to unmute.
Bambi, are you there?
Hi.
Hi, where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Alaska.
All right. So what do you want to talk about then?
You know, I wanted to ask you, some times ago, like maybe within like a past year or two, somebody told me that I have some kind of connection with sacred geometry, and I just want to understand what that connection is. And I was told, yeah.
So when some random person says you have a connection with something, this sticks with you?
Yeah.
Yeah, why?
Why it stuck with me, she's also said something that basically kind of an old soul, but I was kind of thinking it's a cop-out type of thing. Not very original thing to say, meaning. But it stuck with me. I don't know. I think I had some kind of downloads, but I don't understand, and I don't know how to comprehend or understand them.
Everyone has a connection to sacred geometry. It's the very makeup of who we are.
Okay.
So when somebody makes a broad statement saying that you have a connection to sacred geometry, that's saying like you like to breathe air.
Okay.
Okay. The bigger question here is, why did it stick with you? It's not about the subject matter. It's about why did it stick? You're still searching for something.
Yeah.
As long as you're searching, you're not going to find it because it's already inside you. And there's something inside you that you're not allowing definement when it comes to the greater mystical experiences.
So what am I not doing, or what am I doing incorrectly, or how am I
over-processing, overthinking, and overdoing, and not allowing the stuff to percolate and be, and learn from it as it grows. You take on too much information and then get burned out, take on too much information and burned out, and don't even realize you're burning yourself out because you're taking on too much information. You're over-learning and you're addicted to learning. Okay,
so are you saying that I have like that PhD in YouTube type of thing, and
except at a much extremer rate, because you gave up on humanity and stopped socializing.
Okay.
Did you stop socializing?
Well, yeah, especially this year, partially when it was warm and nice, I was out and about, but now it's kind of difficult to escape and get out. Yeah. Okay.
But you weren't expanding friendships, weren't allowing more people in, and that's what the point of the Great Awakening really is, to still have spiritual experiences but not block the rest of the world out.
Mm-hmm.
Are you one, like on the comedy show, are you one of those hermits that should be at the 12 steps of hermit stage?
Oh, yeah. I'm definitely a hermit.
Okay. You got to stop that. because you're allowing yourself to overdo the spirituality and not allow the spirituality to help you define how to use it during normal socialization processes.
Okay.
You'll get a far more rich spiritual experience if you get out there and allow other people into your life and to bring energy in and out, instead of waiting for the galactics and the spirits to come in and motivate you, because that's not their job.
Mm-hmm.
Their job is to inspire you deeper into your self-practice. Okay?
Okay.
And then you take self-practice to the extremes. You're not a monk in a monastery. You're not Bodhidharma in a cave.
Mm-hmm.
And you're not supposed to be a monk in the mountain or Bodhidharma in a cave. You're supposed to be you in this lifetime, living in Alaska, doing the job that you're doing, expanding, living, loving, and learning.
Okay.
Are you ready to leave Alaska?
Yeah, but as you understand, with everything that's going on, it's kind of difficult to
No, it's not.
plan.
No, it's
Don't
not.
stop.
No, it's not. You've just created your own inner Fox News propaganda that says it is.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. It's easy. It's as easy as moving. Millions of people do it every year.
Yeah.
You just got to know where you want to go. Okay? And you're just afraid to start. You're afraid of starting over.
Yeah, there is that.
Mm-hmm. And why? Why are you truly afraid? Because you're comfortable where you're at. You're comfortable as a hermit. You're comfortable in the job that doesn't have a chance for you to expand. You're comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And that's not a bad thing. You just have to determine, is this comfort level going to sustain me and fulfill me over the years? And it isn't sustaining and fulfilling you.
Yeah, that's true.
Your little projects that you do for yourself don't really mean as much as they did before.
Mm-hmm.
The things that fulfilled you before just aren't doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's partially because you don't have people that help inspire you and can share projects, etc., etc. Spirituality and hermitism has gone too far for you.
Yeah.
Okay? It's easily changed. All right? And don't think of this as a roasting. People do it all the time. I have to explain to them, you've gone too far into spirituality. Okay?
I don't feel like I've gone too far in spirituality. Something kind of like...
You gave up on living and hermit. You became a hermit. Yes, you went too far. It means everything to you. Get what I'm saying? It can't mean everything to you. And this is for everybody. If spirituality means everything to you, you have failed at the journey of spirituality. You're not a monk in the mountains. You're not Bodhidharma. You're here during the Great Awakening to be a part of this world and the growth of it.
Okay.
You cannot be codependent on your spiritual journey.
Oh, with whom am I codependent?
Your spiritual journey.
Oh.
Okay? It's just as bad as being in a codependent relationship. Okay?
Oh, that is kind of, yeah, ironic.
And again, you could easily change it. Just go out. Get on a snowmobile. Okay? Don't matter how bad the weather is, get on a snowmobile. Okay?
Yeah. Yeah. Anything else you can tell me? Oh, I guess Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. Get out, enjoy Christmas, darling. Don't spend it a hermit at home. Find some place to go and be with people and share who you are. You're a bright person. Okay?
Yeah. Okay. Thanks. Thank you.
Again, it's easy to change your codependent relationship with spirituality. It's easy. It's not hard. All right. Thanks a lot for calling in.
Okay. Thanks. Bye.
Goodbye. All right, Robert, let's spin up the wheel of callers and see who's next.
Okay, Short, you're getting a signal to unmute.
Shorts, are you there?
Holy crap. I'm in. Hello.
You made it. Yes. Where are you calling it from?
Holland.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So what did you want to talk about today?
I want to ask an embarrassing question, but I have to ask it. So all my shame aside, was I the real Jesus?
No.
I've been fooling myself for about a year.
Do you know how many people ask me that every year, or tell me they're Jesus or Jeshua every year? Well over 100 people every year.
Well, I didn't tell you, right?
No. No, they believe they came to it already and are asking me to validate that they're Jesus or Jeshua. And I've had another person who believed he was both Jesus and Jeshua at the same time. And I go, it don't work that way.
So next question. Are my addictions that much a threat for my wish to become an artist that they're in the way?
What are your addictions?
Video games, I would say, is the biggest one.
How many hours a week are you playing?
Let's say 10, 14 maybe.
So 2-3 hours a day?
Yeah, I think so. Maybe a little less. I've been working on it.
Okay. And when it was your worst, how much were you doing?
Like high school summers, 14 a day.
Okay. And how long did it take for you to cut it down to 2 or 3 a day?
Well, it took me 10 years to get myself motivated to do stuff for myself, actually. Okay. So I guess about... Yeah.
What game are you playing? What's the main game?
Bloons Tower Defense.
Okay. As long as you're sticking, and honestly, 2 to 3 hours a day, adding up to roughly 14 hours a week, that's a little too much. You should cut it down to 6 to 8 hours, because all that extra time could be spent in other things that add to your daily spiritual practice.
All right.
You could also have times where, I can let loose. I can play 6 hours in a day, 7 hours in a day. And it's just the next day I've got to cut it short. It's about you not being run by the game.
Yeah. Yeah. And the other thing is shame. How do I deal with shame of feeling not worthy after? Because whenever I do a promise, I won't do that. I probably do it. I'm really...
Then stop promising yourself you're going to fail.
Yeah.
And choose to be courageous and stand up to the addiction. Choose to be sovereign and say, I can't allow this to run my life. It's a choice.
Yeah.
Okay? I wouldn't be where I'm at right now if I played video games that much that you're playing. I could tell you that.
Right.
Do you want to advance? Then you got to look at what video games are doing temporarily and go, I need to be disciplined enough so that I can get the natural experiences under my belt, and then I can use it in a non-addictive sense and not replace socialization with video gaming.
Yeah, okay. Well, that part is fine. I had the question 2 seconds ago. Yeah, is it? I think there's a part of me that desires to become famous, and there's a part of me that's scared of it. Do you think being famous is desirable?
Famous at what?
Being a super famous artist.
What kind of artist?
One that makes crazy objects, generally related to higher consciousness.
That 1 out of every 25 million people can maybe make it to that.
Yeah, but is that desirable?
Is it desirable? You don't have the discipline to do it. Right now, let me tell you something about fame. It isn't all it's cracked up to be, and it's hard fucking work. Hard work.
I get that, but I don't hear you say it should be avoided. Go on, sorry.
I'm not saying to avoid it. I'm just saying it's hard work. Let me tell you something else about fame. Everyone wants to knock you off your mountain. And there are trolls every day disparaging me here and there, saying that I've done this, this, and this. People who have never met me, but will say the most awfulest and nastiest things. I've had to learn to completely disconnect from social media. I don't have it on my phone. I rarely log into any social medias. Why? Because of that negative freaking energy. But I still have to use it for business.
Yeah.
Okay? So how would you be able to handle fame? If every day you got 200-300 messages from people who want you to spend time with them and they're not going to pay you for your time for free, and all they're going to do is use your skills for free, or they always want to be at your parties and never pay for them. Okay?
Right.
Yeah. So fame is not all it's cracked up to be. If you want to be a super serious artist, go do it. Fame will come if your art is good. If it's not, it won't come.
Yeah.
Okay? But you got to be so dedicated to it that you got to truly take it to the next level every time you go to do your art. And then if you don't have any kind of business sense, your art won't go anywhere. You got to know how to market it, where to take it, and be confident enough to sell it for dollars.
Yeah, and about that part about you have to be super into it every time. You're saying it's not combinable with the 6 hours of gaming a week, or is it?
No, not at the stage you're at right now.
Okay.
But
that's my,
if you were to take the amount of hours in gaming out and dump it into art for 4, 5, or 6 months and get a dozen or so pieces that you're truly happy of, you can take short breaks and go back to a few hours here or there. But are you ultimately going to come back to the discipline, pull out of the game, because you can use the game to help recharge you, just don't obsess with it. So that when you jump back into the art for 2, 3, or 4 months, you leave the game behind.
Okay. I have one last question.
Sure. You got time for more than one question. Go ahead.
Awesome. Well, I was saving it for the last question, but can I show everybody my most awesome piece of art because I'm standing in it?
Sure. Just as long as it's not going to get me kicked off of YouTube.
No, it won't.
Okay.
Check it out, guys. It's a climbing wall.
We can barely see it. Robert, can you focus on his image? It's pinned on me right now. Hold on one second.
Cookie?
Yeah.
Go ahead and talk. There you go. So
it's a climbing wall.
Yeah.
How long did that take you to do?
1 year.
Is that all blacklit?
There's blacklit. What's blacklit?
Blacklight. How are you getting the colors to pop?
It's Chinese nail polish pigments. I only checked afterwards for the fluorescence, and it's not so much resonant with black light. So it's what it is.
Okay, I used to do blacklight airbrushing, and it would be good for you to experiment with blacklight airbrushing. That's good. It's a matter of who's gonna buy that though.
We'll see. That's secondary. So this is my art basement, and I want to turn this into an elitist gallery. Maybe I shouldn't focus on the elitist stuff. Yeah. So
why does it have to be elitist?
I figured that would be easier, and I fancy myself walking in that area, but that might be just a big old ego. Here goes shame again.
Well, ego and art, 1 and 1.
Probably why I'm so good at it.
Listen, your art is as good as your ego. So ego and art is not a bad thing. It's just when it comes to business is where ego and art confuse each other. The bigger ego you have, the greater artist you're going to be. That's not a bad thing.
That's why I think I got a good shot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you got a random piece of advice from me from what you're seeing or hearing?
How many other art pieces have you completed?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Say 10. I mean, that's the bulk I'm increasing and focusing on now. I only started 2 years ago.
10 in 2 years.
Yes.
If you're at like 30 a year, then you're going to be in a higher opportunity of getting more pieces out at production. So you've got to increase your yearly production because each one will be its own source of your connection to your art.
Okay.
And one might top the other. Others might be crappy, but to everyone else, it's beautiful. Okay? Increase your volume of doing.
How do I guard that thing? Because now I let him come, and when I have the idea, then I can start. So I let him come. That doesn't change, or does it? And how do I keep that originality?
That's why you're an artist. That's what keeps you in that state. You're the one that's the original artist. You're the one that makes it the original art. No one else does it but you.
Yeah.
Okay? That's why inspiration and courage to get into the talent of that is you is vital. So you can see video games as a recharge thing, but once you're done recharging, what does it take for you to get the 100% focus? Just like in the game, if you're on a 14-page rampage kill, how do you do that? Transfer that focus to the next art piece.
That's more important than pricing. And yeah.
Right. And then pricing, size determines price, quality determines price. Just don't sell yourself short.
Oh, no, I'm selling for millions. I just haven't sold one.
Yeah, then lower the price.
Okay.
Don't sell for millions. Okay?
Yep.
How did you find out about me?
7 years ago, you gave a reading to a guy you said was one of the 300 old souls, the beginning souls on the planet. Mm-hmm. He recently became a friend of mine, he shared his reading, and I asked him the question, "How old is my soul? Am I in that ballpark or?"
So you immigrated to this universe, which technically resets soul age 87 million years ago. That puts you in the old soul range. Not at the same level as the other guy. Because years are no longer measurable. It's eras of light in which the soul has lived hundreds of thousands, if not millions of lives. And it looks at the aggregate total of what's experienced during an era of light, which determines how a soul advances itself. So you're old. You get a free cup of coffee every planet you go to.
Yes, that's what I wanted to hear. That's it. Awesome.
Okay.
Sweet. Yeah, that's it.
You're eligible for the early bird menu.
Awesome. Thank you very, very much.
You're welcome.
I'm going to meditate on this and specify my questions for Monday.
Okay. So one more thing. Have you ever learned airbrushing? I talked about it to you before.
No, it's like this, what they do with cars.
Yes, but it can be different where you can use an overhead projector and make very large pieces. And when your mind goes from 30 by 30 to 90 by 90 or bigger, it gives you a whole different way of conceptualizing projects. So I recommend to a lot of artists just so that you learn the greater conceptualization. Okay? Because when you become detail-oriented, they always becomes 30 on a little 30-inch by 30-inch square instead of a 12 by 12 foot by 12 foot square. That allows you to think bigger, and it still allows you to use your detail work everywhere.
I'm going to learn that skill.
Okay? You can go and get an airbrush and paints and a compressor for under 150 euros. Okay? And it's again, you can go on YouTube and learn how to use it. It's really easy, especially if you've already got color melting skills together. And the other thing about airbrushing, it gives you a whole different class of colors called tinting colors, where you can add unique reflective tinting and fluorescent colors to things. Like that wall there, if you had airbrushed that wall with like some tinting and reflective fluorescent or pearlescent colors, it would pop under those lights. 10 times more pop. Okay?
Oh, shit. Cool.
Right. And then you can spray it with a glassing color like a vinyl finish, and then it'll be durable for long periods of time.
That's it. That's my work. You just described my job.
There you go.
Sweet, bro. And by Monday, I meant the private session we've booked.
Okay, great. I'll look forward to seeing you then.
Thank you.
All right, brother.
Thanks, everybody, for checking me out. Bye-bye. Awesome.
Bye. All right. Robert, let's spin up the wheel of callers and see who is next.
Alrighty, Cat Diaz, signal to unmute.
Hello.
Hello, where are you calling from today?
Hi, Andrew. I'm calling from Ontario, Canada.
Ontario, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. I can't believe I actually got on. I only discovered you about 2 weeks ago. I was looking at another video on YouTube or something like that, and I'd gone into the comments, and this guy had made this comment. He goes, look, he says, if you get this stuff, he says, see if you can wrap your head around this. And there was a link to your interview with Lance White back in 2013. Mm-hmm. And I was hooked from the moment, because this year I've experienced so many changes this year alone from the lockdowns and being segregated from people for so long, that it's opened my eyes, it's opened my mind. I totally live in a different dimension these days, and you help piece a lot of that together for me. And
what were some of the pieces that helped?
Well, you speaking as the Galactic historian, it was just your way of talking and answering questions. I can't go on one thing specifically. Sorry, I'm losing my voice a little bit here. But it just, everything you said resonated with me 100%. I understood fully light workers and your connection into higher dimensions and 5D consciousness. Everything, so much has changed with me, to the point I got sick in the end of September very quickly, in a matter of 2 hours. And I used therapeutics because I suspected COVID. And it took me 5 days to get a COVID test. And on my 5th day, my fever finally broke and I was feeling good again. And I went for my COVID test and I tested negative. Then I lost my taste buds. All of a sudden, I couldn't eat meat anymore. Now I survive on raw vegetables and fresh fruits and eggs and cheese and a little bit of fish. My way of thinking, my clarity has changed so much. In the last week, I attempted to do meditation, and it's almost like in another lifetime that I used to meditate on a regular basis, because I've never done it in this lifetime. But the places I've traveled and the things that I've learned and the telecommunication that I have experienced, especially in the last 2 days, has literally brought me to tears of joy and understanding. And I don't know, do you feel that I'm on the right track of where I should be going?
What is your protein now?
My protein now is eggs and cheese, and fish. Mm. I think fish is a protein.
You've only been listening a couple weeks.
I've been listening to you a couple of weeks, but my whole life has been changed over this entire year. And
hold on, let me finish.
Okay.
On a regular basis, people call in and say the exact same thing that you are, and I have to remind them, if you're not getting 40 grams of protein a day, you are failing at being a vegetarian. You cannot be a bad vegetarian. It will only make you sicker. I am pro people being vegetarian and following their heart's ideological choice. But if you continue to be a bad vegetarian, and right now you're being a bad vegetarian, you are getting nowhere near 40 grams of protein. I'm scanning you right now, and you're one step away from full anemia. And you're lying to yourself about how much you're actually eating.
I'm not eating a whole lot.
I'm
grazing.
I'm
grazing throughout
bullshit.
The day.
That's bullshit. That's bullshit. You've convinced yourself it's the right thing, and it is doing harm to you. Get your proteins, girl, and the experience that you have will increase tenfold. Learn to be a good vegetarian. Cheese and eggs an egg is 6 grams of protein. A piece of fish is no more than 9 grams of protein. You're averaging less than 15. You're averaging 15 grams of protein a day, minimum of 40.
Okay.
Okay, or you will end up so sick you'll be in the hospital. And I'm telling you, every week I get a person exactly in your situation, and I have to say the exact same thing to them. I'm trying to help everyone understand, if you want to be the vegetarian, be a smart one. Right now, you're not. And you truly have to pay attention. People tell me this grazing garbage all the time. I know what it means. It means you're choosing to not eat correctly. Okay? That's what it means. It means you're not cooking, you're not preparing, and you're not buying the food at the grocery store. Okay?
No, all my food does come from the grocery store. When I cook, everything is from scratch. I just went off my taste of meat. Okay,
that's fine. That's fine. Yeah. That's fine. But you didn't replace the protein, and you dropped your normal protein, which was close to 30 grams a day, to less than 15 grams a day.
I understand what you're saying. So increase my protein.
Right. And it can be whatever. That means when you go and shop, you have to do the vegan calculations that says, this is a 500-calorie piece of vegetable, but it costs me 600 calories to burn, and it only has 4 grams of protein in it. I can't eat that. Okay. Example, are you going to eat 9 pounds of nuts a week?
I eat a lot of nuts.
Do you eat 9 pounds of nuts a week?
I haven't weighed it, but probably not.
Okay? That's what you would need to eat, get to average your proteins out. The same thing goes with hemp seeds and all that. People aren't going to eat all that of volume. Therefore, you have to get a high level of education and commitment to being a vegetarian.
Okay.
Okay?
All right. That sounds good.
As for your spiritual experiences, they're just beginning. You just started meditation. You just started these practices. A year from now, when you've dedicated yourself to a year of these practices, brought in some other styles like prayer, advanced ceremonies and rituals, whole new levels are going to be opened up for you. Do I believe this is the path for you? Absolutely. You wouldn't have been having these experiences. But I think I've been put in front of your path to remind you that if you're going to continue to have these experiences, a whole different level of commitment out of your life force has to come.
I understand that completely. It has been. It's a whole new experience. It's come very fast.
You got to educate yourself really fast into the lay of the land.
Exactly.
Example. Not by not eating protein. You know what that does to you? It opens you up to negative entities infesting you. That's what it does.
Okay. All right. So I got that point. More protein. And I will add on to that because I've been doing so well. And with I'm not going to really say that I'm a spiritual being. I do believe in our prime creator. Okay. Mm-hmm. And I do believe in the light and dark forces, but where my meditation is taking me, it seems like talking to other people that meditate, they are telling me that I have taken a very advanced state very quickly.
So when your meditations take you places, you're not meditating, you're journeying.
Okay, well, I'm journeying then.
Okay, meditation is achieving silence and stopping the body from going on spontaneous journeys and maintaining silence for as long as possible. You should be practicing meditation because your journeys will become more stronger. Just say what it is. If I'm going to journey today, I'm journeying. If I'm meditating today, I'm achieving the silence. That's internally and externally. Okay. And then when you become over-practiced in one thing, you won't have all of the other benefits of learning the basics of many of the other skills, like saging and protecting the room before you do it, using crystals to help modify, protecting the 4 corners of your bedroom, the 4 corners of your bed. The place that you do your meditation should never be the room you're sleeping in. Okay?
Oh, and it's in this room every time.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Do you sage the room out? Do you energetically clear the room?
Yes, I do. I use sage.
Do you have a spiritual hygiene practice?
Yes, I do.
Okay. You got to take those to, if you're having these powerful experiences, you cannot maintain the old things. You need to bring new spiritual cleanliness practices in because you're bringing more energy in. And when you bring more energy in, you attract more things. Your light gets brighter. Therefore, all of these other little side techniques you learn will make your journey, your meditation, and the experiences you're having that much more rich because there's a whole different repertoire of learning behind it.
Okay, may I ask a question?
Sure.
I have 3 cats, okay? They're my roommates. They're not my pets. They're my roommates. I do everything for them. So when I'm going on, I won't say meditation because I'm going on journeys. And when I'm going on my journeys, I'm finding that my cats, especially my little 3-legged guy, he is coming and he is trying to lay in my lap. I'm sitting cross-legged.
He's protecting you.
It's like he's trying to hold me down.
No, he's protecting you.
Okay.
Okay. Also, you're new with this experience, right?
Yes.
You don't know what you're doing right now. You're on a country dirt road. It's dark and one headlight's out.
That's it.
Okay. You got to slow the journeying down, or you're going to crash.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
You got to let it build up. Try journeying once a week, and you're doing it just about every day now, aren't you?
I am.
And doing it every day means you're not actually grounded every day. Combined with the eating, you're in a setup for a disaster.
Okay.
A major spiritual car wreck. You shouldn't, this goes for everyone out there. You shouldn't be journeying more than 1 week unless you are on a dedicated pilgrimage to allow yourself to do it every week, to do it more than 1, 4 or 5, 6 times in a week. Okay. And you dedicate a pilgrimage saying, this is my spiritual time where I'm off of work and away from everything. And I'm giving myself this gift of spiritual journeying as a personal trial of who I am. But you should not be journeying every day, because that only ungrounds you, and it takes a tremendous amount of energy to journey. Like example, there are journeys that could cost you 4,000 calories. Where do you think that comes from in your body?
I am a little bit overweight, but I'm definitely going to start to do better and add more protein. But I hear what you're saying about it taking from me, because when I come out of it, I could go for a nap easily. Right.
And if you could go for a nap easy, what that means is you're immediately stripping muscle. Example, your body will not burn fat until it's almost dead. So if you have no protein in your intestinal tract and go do heavy workouts or spiritual work, you're immediately stripping living muscle away from yourself. Okay. And what that does when you do that on a regular basis, it creates cyclical body-based depression. That's the vicious cycle that people get caught into when they're not grounded. Okay?
Yes, I understand that completely.
So cut it down to once or twice a week, no more. And the other times you're actually meditating, achieving the silence, or practicing some of the other spiritual techniques that are out there.
Okay.
Okay.
I will do that. I will work on that. And then hopefully in the new year, when you bring your live shows back, maybe I can get on your show again and share my...
I got a little something else to add into you. Why do you think you were activated this year?
Well, can I give you a little bit of history quickly?
Sure.
I'm 52 years old, okay? When I was 2 years old, I had my first skull fracture. They induced coma to keep me alive. They didn't expect me to be alive. I came out very, very advanced. My mind worked very quickly, almost like photographic memory. When I was 26, I fractured my skull again, and it was the right side, and all of that was taken away from me. And for the last 26, that accident was on November 8th, 1994. On November 8th of this year, 2020, speaking with a very good friend of mine who is also light-minded, she was sharing a story with me over the phone about her astral projection in dream state. Well, when this happened, all of a sudden, her voice just toned out, and it was like I was getting these images flashing right across my eyes, and significant portions of my life And at the same time, I got what I'm going to call my download, because I don't know how to explain it any further than that. But for 2 days, my brain felt very scrambled. I was like a squirrel trying to explain things. I couldn't stay focused. All of a sudden, I had a lot of unanswered questions that I seemed to know the answers to. My brain felt like it was starting to heal itself, and I was able to, things that I couldn't remember for 26 years are coming back. It's like my brain has wakened again. It's been such a phenomenal journey in the last month and a half. It's really, really overwhelming. And I don't want to sound crazy here, but metaphorically, before that accident at age 26, I would sense evil and through people's eyes, and I had no problems telling somebody that, your eyes are evil, and I just want you to know that I know that you have evil in you. But it was more of a metaphoric state. Well, since my download, when I see people now, I actually see evil.
Okay, but do you get the gradient? Do you get the gradients of evil?
It's almost, Andrew, it's like I see the face behind the mask. I see both faces at the same time.
Be very, very careful with that. Demons know how we see special sight, and they can make imagery you wouldn't realize is a hijacked imagery. Do not obsess about seeing the demonic energy and learn how to gradiate everyone's got a touch of an asshole in them. And a touch of an asshole is not evil, but it can show up on your evil meter as that.
Yes.
Okay? So that's why you got to learn the gradient of color.
Yes, and I get lots of color. Okay, I'm not afraid of the evil. I've never been afraid of the evil. In my younger years, it quite intrigued me. And I lived with a man for 7 years. And I'll tell you, he is an actual demon in human form. And I see that now. It's like I see my life since my download. I saw my life, how it actually played out. But after the download, I see the reasoning of why my life played out. I don't have that question anymore. What is the meaning of my life? What is my purpose? Because I have my answer.
Okay.
I know what my purpose is. Okay.
So I want to add something. I want to add something to you. When you had your first injury, they moved you off of the awakening timeline. Yes. When you had your second head injury, they moved you off of that timeline because you kept coming back to the awakening timeline. And then when you had your awakening here, your downloads, you finally came back to the right timeline. So they have been doing negative time travel combat with you to make sure you don't be on this timeline. That's why your photographic memories were so screwed up. And when it came back, you were on the right linear timeline. And the Akashic Records is beginning to update you what's going on in the right timeline. And my best advice for you is don't obsess about the spiritual part of the thing. It's going to overwhelm you no matter what you do. And if you obsess about it, it will take away from the experience. Make sure you go out and socialize. Make sure you don't become a hermit. Learn prayer. Learn how to separate what is practice from journeying. And your experiences will get far more rich and far more fulfilling.
Thank you, Andrew. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You've got a powerful energy behind you, and you've got a mission to do. You just don't know all the parameters of the mission yet.
Exactly.
They're still trying to fill you in on this timeline you haven't been on for the majority of your life.
Exactly.
Okay?
Thank you so much.
You're welcome,
darling.
Thank
you so much. I am so grateful that you've come into my life. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. And I look forward to seeing you in the new year.
You're welcome. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and get out there and get some protein.
You got it. You got it, my friend.
You got it.
I'm going right now to the kitchen.
Good for you. All right, thanks for calling in.
Thank you, Andrew. Bye-bye now.
All right, Robert, let's spin up the wheel of callers and see who's next.
Matty Waller, signal to unmute.
Matty Waller. Hey, Matty, how you doing?
Hey, Andrew, how you doing, man?
Doing great. It's been a while since we talked.
It has. I have to apologise, Andrew. I've had a couple of beers tonight. It's quite late here.
Good. I've had a couple of drinks tonight too.
Yeah. So, Andrew, since our last conversation, I've been, reading the Mandela Effect Revocation, and there's a couple of parts that are sticking out to me, and I wonder if I could run them past you.
Absolutely.
So, there's a part where it says about the HDMI. It says that, hang on 1 minute.
High density military, I am now intelligence.
It's why it's our duty to hold sovereign power, so our I am forgotten selves could stay on the edges and keep bringing things to our 1 degree of separation.
Mm-hmm.
So does that mean that these forgotten selves, these forgotten parts of ourselves, can be a part of our precognitive workforce?
They are trying to get into the zone where your precognitive workforce can perceive them because they're a forgotten workforce. Aspects that are no longer connected to the nonlinear soul, whose original linear time was erased. And they're trying to get out of their erased linear time and back onto nonlinear infinite time. And so they've been locked out of having access to the precognitive workforce. And there's a network of forgotten selves who are working together to be remembered.
And how do we assist that process, Andrew?
That's the whole point of the Mandela Effect, is to make a broadcast to all I am selves in awareness, unawareness, times, and no times. That's why I created that particular thing, to connect them to the union and communion collective consciousness strike. So wherever light has gone, even if it's been erased, there's an opportunity of a portal and a doorway back to the hub of interconnectivity.
And this is the transgalactic exchange system between eras of light. So
it can be perceived as that, but it's more too.
So in other realities, this is the way that they exchange technology, or this is the way they exchange reality. So in our reality, Andrew, how does it work? I mean, how do will it proceed that these forgotten selves will become more a part of our...
They will integrate with your precognitive and postcognitive workforce and no longer be forgotten selves. They will be remembered selves who are added to the totality of your Akashic record, because they've not been a part of your Akashic record. Because they've been in forgotten space.
Understood. And how will they present themselves, Andrew?
Everything under the sun, an infinite amount of ways.
Of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's all about how long they've been forgotten for and what gifts do they have to offer. That's why when you're nearing the end of that Mandela revocation, you're talking to every version of yourself that's ever been forgotten and every peacemaker that's ever been forgotten, and reconnecting them to the great dreamers of peace, the unvanquished dreamers of peace, so that peace is even into the vanquished realms.
And there's a part also in there that speaks about the first generation of Mandela effects from the first era of light.
Yes, this universe.
This universe.
Mm-hmm.
Can you expand on that, Andrew? Because
there are many things that existed in the first era of light that were in our 1784th era of light, this universe. Okay? We've forgotten many, and many people immigrated to this universe 7 billion years ago, 6 billion years ago.
Yes.
So the original founding beings, majority of them moved on to other universes.
Yes.
So yeah, there's plenty of forgotten things from the first, second, third, fourth, fifth, 20th, and 100th eras of light.
And how
go ahead.
How do our other selves affect that, you see, in our process? Because,
our other selves are the ones searching for the lost Mandela effects.
Yes. And that's our responsibility.
To indicate to our precognitive and postcognitive workforce that should be a priority while we are in the Great Awakening, is to find every aspect of our forgotten selves and the connections are other forgotten selves who've had to other forgotten selves up to 900 degrees of separation from us.
Yes. And those of us who are not able to perceive what that is, Andrew, how do they complete that process themselves? Because obviously you've said it's only C+ effort that gets you to the Great Awakening. So how does that process work for the majority of the people on this planet?
Most of them trip and fall into the awakening at that C+ effort. They car crash into it. It's A+ effort that gives you the definition of how that happens. C+ effort doesn't give you that definition.
No. Yes. Wonderful. do you know, Andrew? I do have a dream. If you'd be willing to discuss it.
Sure.
From a while ago, I had a dream, and you know, I have many dreams and many that I remember, and some of them stick out. And there was one that I had that was just so vivid, and it was about founder beings.
Mm-hmm.
And
how long ago was this dream?
This dream would have been about a year or two ago. It's been a crazy few years. But I remember being, as you described, as an iPhone to founder beings.
Mm-hmm.
And we were on a planet, and there was a rebellion. And in this dream, you were leading the rebellion.
Mm-hmm.
And it was so real, Andrew. I could see you jumping up onto some sort of transport device. And it's just one of those dreams that I always thought if I ever had the chance, I would bring up with you. What have you got to say about that?
I did do that.
Yeah, I thought so. It was one of those dreams, Andrew, that I know is real, like, you know, the memory dreams, you know. So you led a rebellion against the founder beings.
A transgalactic rebellion.
Yeah.
It wasn't one rebellion in one planet. It was simultaneous rebellions on billions of worlds.
Wow. And I remember being a part of that and the feeling of it as well.
But that was to a group of fake founder beings.
Okay.
It was revealing the fakes.
Right.
And it wasn't just me. There were millions of others that were a part of it. And it was a long-term plan we put into place.
Right.
And then it was go day. Wreak havoc, unleash the dogs of war.
And so is this what caused some of them to become what you describe as the multidimensional beings?
No, they had already become that long before that. Right,
okay. Which era was this?
Would have been about 48 million years ago. But this rebellion would have been about 680 million years ago.
Okay. Was this in this solar system?
No.
No.
Again, it was across many galaxies and many billions of solar systems simultaneously.
A rebellion from all of the DNA technology that decided to rebel?
Anything that had been hijacked by false creator beings.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. We had uploaded back into DNA the knowingness of what a real creator founder being is or isn't.
Yes. And I think I feel that now, Andrew. That same feeling, that same frequency.
Sure, we're about to have a grand spiritual rebellion to the farmers.
We are.
And then the owners of the farm.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. But is it going to be seen or unseen? The majority of it's going to be unseen.
Absolutely. Well, most of this has been unseen. The narrative will just continue as it is. It's quite obvious.
Well, inevitably the narrative will adjust itself. Inevitably it will, but we can't give the narrative, you have to show me now. You give it that energy, you've already lost the awakening.
Yes. Wonderful. Well, thank you, Andrew. I don't want to keep you any longer, my brother. I'm glad I managed to get on. I wanted to try and come on for the last show. I'd had a few beers and I wasn't sure if I should or not, but I'm glad I did.
I'm glad you called in.
Thank you, brother.
All right, brother. Take it easy.
Speak to you, like always. Take care now. Good night.
All right, take it easy. All right, Robert, let's spin up the wheel of callers and see who's next.
All righty, Harrison, you're next.
Harrison, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. How are you?
Hi, where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Nairobi, Kenya.
From where again?
Nairobi, Kenya.
Kenya, welcome to the show.
I'm okay. I'm very grateful for your show.
Great. What did you want to talk about today?
I wanted to ask if you could give me an Akashic reading.
Okay. Well, tell me a little bit about yourself so I can tune into you.
Well, I'm 30 years old. What about myself?
What kind of job do you do?
I'm in data. So I normally do data work. Yeah.
Okay. What does spirituality mean to you?
Well, I think it's an inner journey where I personally do some meditation and I'm finding who I am from within.
Okay. How did you discover spirituality meant something to you? that wasn't the normal religions?
Most of it from YouTube, and also asking myself a lot of things that weren't making sense from religion.
Okay. You realized that there were discrepancies and holes in what the religions were saying, and you wanted to know a greater truth.
Yeah, because I've been brought up as a Christian, and I was asking a lot of questions from that.
I was raised Greek Orthodox. Okay?
Yeah.
I was raised Greek Orthodox, and then I discovered all different forms of religions and spiritual concepts. All right, so let me tune in and go back to the last lifetime you are before you were who you are today. You were born 1870 and died 1950. And you were living in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil.
Okay.
You were a banker the majority of your lifetime. Like, your family operated a local bank, not a giant bank, a local bank. And the significance of this lifetime is Brazil had a moment where, in the early 1900s, where slavery had ended, much like it had ended in the United States. And you were one of the first, your family's bank was one of the first banks that offered loans and the ability to even have a bank account to people who were former slaves, especially the Africans who had no rights before that. And when you had your life review, you truly realized the benefit of what positive banking can do, especially for those that were denied their capacity to store their own money in a safe place, which sets you up to be who you are today. Now, let me go further back. Let me go 2,000 years ago. This time you're living in southern India, and you would regularly travel on the bridge, on Rama's bridge, between the southern tip of India and Sri Lanka. You were a priest. And the best description is you had learned of the hundreds of thousands of religious gods that were related to the Indian pantheon that was there. And you had a knowledge that some gods weren't gods. They were living, breathing beings who were just called gods. And you had personal relationships to many of them. And you were a counselor even to some of them, helping them understand some of the emotional turmoils that they would go through, because life was very challenged even for the gods at that particular time. And when you had your life review for that particular lifetime is where you realized that the greater you was meant to be a healer, not just a priest. And this is some of the things that's beginning to come into you today, that whatever it is you do for a job isn't the right thing for you, that the healing field, the psychology fields, the counseling field, hands-on healing, being a doctor, those are the things you should be looking into doing, because that is what your part of your greater show is saying.
Wow. So, because I feel that normally when I go to meditate, I go in a small stream and I dip my feet. Mm-hmm. And I feel like I'm connected, like, with everything. It's like I'm free.
You are connected. And you need to take that to the next level and allow that energy, jump into that energy and allow it to fill up your deep reservoirs.
Wow. Yeah. Because in like the job I'm doing, like I'm also giving loans to customers. Mm-hmm. So, and I was thinking like I wanted to change the career. I didn't know the path to follow, but I find reading and understanding the brain, that's kind of my thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Now let me track back a little further. I'm going to go 2,500,000 years ago. And at this point, you're living in Germany. It basically in Germany. It's hard to describe what town it is. And at that particular time, you are incarnated as an off-world being who is a military member, who understands the surface world is full of people who are in a lower state of awareness and have a different frequency of DNA. And the human farm system had been going here for a long time, but the surface military aware beings had been upgraded over the last few thousand years because there was going to be a big purge on the surface world. There had been a whole bunch of wars, and they needed to purge many of the invading species who had seeded their DNA here in this world. And this is a little bit of negative, but you were a part of a kill squad where you would go in and burn out villages of these invading species. Now, it was an absolute necessary thing to do because these were some evil-ass entities, evil, violently evil. And they would hijack human DNA skin suits and lineages. And if you had not hunted and burned them out, this world would be 10,000 times worse.
Oh, wow.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's the warrior side of you that understood these things had to be cleaned out. But the end of that lifetime, it broke you. It broke you that you had to be that bad and that evil. But even in the life review, you were reminded if you didn't do it, it would be way worse. And that's what triggered an end to your greater war, your soul's resolution of war. You had completed all your tasks and had done many of the negative things that had to do as part of a soul's experience. And this freed you from a lot of your Atlantean and Lemurian negative karmas, which then set you up for a different path of agriculture, animal husbandry, and allowing other life force to be nurtured by you. And this is something you should realize. This is why you have this connection this lifetime, because over the last many millions of years, you've helped other life force grow and learn and become.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. Thank you.
You're welcome. How long you been listening to me for?
I found you from Raula Eisenhower show, and then from there just binging on your shows, and I've loved them since.
Great. What kind of things have you learned?
One is about discernment, and also I was kind of plugged into what was happening into like countries' elections, and what light workers were like saying one guy is a savior, the other guy is a bad thing, and also being able to listen to you and understand like, okay, it's all about me. It's not about anybody else coming to save you.
Yeah, no one's going to come to save you. You got to save yourself.
Yeah, and thanks for that. And how do you grow your intuitive skills and becoming an intuitive empath?
Daily practice. Daily practice that becomes dedicated weekly, monthly, and yearly practice in which you're not practicing one type of thing. You're practicing many different skill sets and continuing to learn other spiritual habits and techniques so that the year is filled with the variety of things that you could experience as a part of your daily practice. And that's what refines your intuitive skills. Practice, 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 and more practice. Learning spiritual hygiene techniques such as protecting the four corners of your bed, the four corners of your room, regularly cleaning the energy of your house. Just as you would wash your sheets or change your clothes, you have to change out the energy in the spaces that you live too.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. And I was also planning to put aside from the culture we come, there's a kind of a ceremonial place where you can put in your house to go and pray.
Yeah, an altar. An altar.
An altar. Yeah.
An altar isn't for newbies, though. Because if an altar is meaning I've committed and dedicated, because once you start ignoring an altar, it backfires on you. So once you find that committed level to practice, then set up the altar.
Yeah, I had actually done it from a previous home I had rented. So that after moving, I haven't done it again.
You broke up. Say that again.
Okay, from the previous home I was renting, I had put an altar. But after moving, I didn't re-elect the altar again.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. But when you set it up again, you got to make sure you use it on a regular basis.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
You got to use it on a regular basis. Altars are not meant to go unused, and this is for everyone out there.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
All right, brother. Thanks a lot for calling in.
Okay, thanks.
All right, everybody. I'm reaching that tired energy, and I'm going to have Monty Dean come on next. And for all you people that are going, me, I want more readings, tough luck. Did 130 fucking shows this year.
Yeah, feel the love. Feel the love.
Bitches. Hi, Monty. How you doing?
I'm quite good, actually. Yesterday felt like a Friday. Today is Friday. And then you're about to tell me tomorrow's Friday.
Yes, tomorrow is Friday. So you're triple repeat Friday.
Yep. Hello from the future.
Hello from the future? Because it's Thursday today.
Well, you're just living in the past, Andrew. Come on.
Well, I can't help it.
Well, time is an illusion, and it's the Pope's schedule and Roman time. I've been thinking, like, watching the show and, like, cool, and doing my normal thing of putting jokes into the chat, as you do, like Vegan Demons. Like, that's an awesome show. Someone should make that. Next up on Vegan Demons. He's got meat everywhere.
Exactly. He eats meat. Oh, no.
He's a flesher. I do have a question, which I think, how I work, where it's like, it helps me personally, but it's a question to help everyone else. Let's go to the end. After you do the daily practice and you get to your sovereignty, and what's the end goal of saving yourself, and what will the effect be on the energy farm?
You get your 72 virgins.
Okay. Thanks, everybody. We'll be here next day.
What happens? Multidimensional living without the fucking system telling you what you can and can't do.
Yeah. So basically,
freedom. No more banking demons. No more coronavirus. No more of the things that tell you are to limit you.
So most of the negativity disappears.
Well, it's on that journey. It disappears. Again, you're still a part of the collective reality and the reality rules. The point of the daily practice is regular admissions and visualizations of hindsight and regular visions and admissions of foresight. Hindsight is, I just did all that practice. What's it going to do for me? Oh, it will do this for me. Mastering and hindsight and foresight through the cyclical practice of summing non-mystical courage, commitment, and discipline, till you realize that these are choices, and sovereignty is an everyday choice. And after a year of making everyday choices, you look back and go, wow, that's a lot of responsibility to be choosing this every day. Mm-hmm. Now I want to choose smarter. Learn how to make choices that affect me for weeks and months ahead of time. So,
from a 3D perspective, that block goes in. You tap into your multi-dimensionalism,
mm-hmm.
And it's from the. I like how it's choices. Like, today I'll be all that is and was and will be. Oh, that sounds fun, because you've done the work and you erode the programming and all the blocks.
Well, let me tell you, it's not all it's cracked up to be. All there is, was, and ever will be.
Oh, yeah, I know that. I've had that.
There's a lot of responsibility to that. Okay?
Yeah, I've done that where I've gone for a meditational walk type thing, and it's like, I wonder what it's like to be the prime creator, and like, no, it's boring. After a nanosecond, it's like, why would you want to know everything?
Okay.
That's why when you read a mystery book, you don't skip to the end of the page. It's like, oh, it's the butler.
That's why my unicorn dragging ass is there, because being super spiritual all the time is like a unicorn dragging ass. Okay?
Well,
it's challenging.
Part of being spiritual in this experience on the planet in this moment of now is to still live in the 3D, and I mean that in it's a frequency part of the hologram, which is part of the experience, not the way that the dark came in and messed with the hologram, which has kept us in the 3D. Like 3D itself is just an awesome experience. You just don't need like archons punching you down for 4 million years. That kind of sucks.
Well, until you learn how to kick the archons in the nuts.
Yeah, so once you tap into the responsibility.
That's the other side of spirituality. You can, those things that have been holding you down, you can learn to do things to them that are not warfare.
See, the power of competition, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, so, yeah. Well, that's cool as well, because in a way, if you go into that warlike, say, violence, that's an element of what they use.
It's
and so you can
lowering yourself to their level.
Yeah, which I find it fun. From Conspiracy World, we have to fight. Well, I sort of am by not being on the field, and I think because I've been saying that I'm getting up in the stands and walking out. I think I went and got a Coke, and I'm coming back now to watch watch the game unfold. Or an orange juice.
We're still there. They're in a point where they're red carding people. It's It's a football soccer term. So the game hasn't restarted. The guy's real pissed off. One ref has been attacked, and a whole bunch of red cards have been issued.
Oh, it's getting exciting. So. The second part of the question is, once you tap into that awesomeness of your birthright and legacy, and you shine on, you crazy diamond, what happens to you on the energy farm and the management, which you'll just laugh at a lot? Like, you people are idiots. And then you've got the owners.
You get to become the farmer for a while.
Ooh.
And then you're like, who owns this farm?
Yeah. I would like to talk to the manager.
Wait, no. I'm going to break this tractor and see what happens. Okay? I'm going to do donuts with this tractor and see if I can get the owner to come here.
Yeah. Nice. So basically as you progress up, you challenge blocks, if I can use simple terminology, where
that you challenge their perception of power and take it back from them.
Yeah.
Because you're not trying to do warfare. As long as you're doing warfare with them, you've already lost. But taking back your power from them in unique ways, like doing donuts with their tractors.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, cool. Yeah, I just thought that would be a good being the end of the year, it's like, well, let's sort of, because it's that thing of like, there's some humans that believing is seeing, because they believe it, they can do it and see it, like the 4-minute mile. And then most of humanity is seeing is believing, because they've seen someone do the 4-minute mile. Well, I can do that too. And there's nothing wrong with each position. It's just part of the experience. It's just interesting where, how every time, like, is it Usain Bolt? Like he ran under 10 seconds. Oh, it's steroids or drugs or whatever. But now other people are sort of matching him. It's there's that belief engine aspect. And that's the cool thing about, like, for me, watching music videos, I'm watching the guitarist's hand. I'm like, I could be so much better. That looks easy. Now, obviously, there's talent and practice, but you just see where the hands go. And it's like, well,
that motivates you to practice.
Yeah.
That's friendly, healthy competition.
Yes. And it's, and so, I do like that. That's the, you save yourself, you save the world in a Heroes, the TV show thing. And I like the idea of we start to, we don't really challenge the owners, do we? We sort of just go, so you've been screwing my planet for a while now. Have you thought of immigrating?
Okay, here's an immigration lawyer. You're going to need it.
Yeah. I've got some friends that are stuck in Bayswater, kind of upset. Go away.
Oh, we're going to put you in the ice camps.
Yes. Who is this man? Hello, my name's Monty. I've been taking loosh for 45 years. Have you seen my friend Titan? Yes, that's a prison planet, ladies and gentlemen. Take that.
Exactly. And then you're going to meet, the metaphorical Bubba in the prison. The controllers are gonna have to have a moment. They're gonna get shanked. They're gonna get shanked in the yard.
I don't know enough about galactic history, but it's like, a reptiloid lizard gets put in with, Barbara's like, you're from Orion. You ruined my planet millions of years ago. Now you're my bitch.
You're my bitch. Exactly.
As a representative of this species, I'm going to make your... It just reminds me as well, if you've seen the first animated movie with Robin Williams of Aladdin, I think it's the first one, and maybe the second one. But the point is, like, you can't kill a genie, and like the genie keeps getting zapped. It's like, you can't die, yeah, but you'd be amazed what you can live through.
Exactly. Be amazed what you could live through. That which doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
Yeah. And it's sort of, I feel like spiritually this year or this lifetime, I feel like if, like, in the Mandalorian, where he has to have has to take his helmet off so the droid could fix him. Mm-hmm. It sort of feels like that, where we've been run over by 15, 18-wheeler trucks. Bam, 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 and then someone says, "How are you?" "I'm fine. I'm great." And then the higher self's like, "Oh, cool, another one."
It's just a flesh wound.
Yeah, I just need a band-aid. I just need a moment to catch my breath. And it's that soul aspect of like, you're fine. And that's the interesting thing about listening to the callers you have. You've been here for millions of years, and it's like, I can't remember October. Wow. And I feel tired.
What happened in October? Nothing. A whole bunch of nothing.
I think I said, remember the heady days of February. And most people were like, no.
Yes, when you could go out unrestricted.
Yeah. And because, everyone listening, Andrew and I have conversations off air, which I think we're going to start recording, because we went for 3.5 hours and we went from Star Wars to, what did we end up in? It was just, we just went across the entire gambit. Like, that was fantastic.
Yeah.
And at the end, you should have recorded that. Yeah. I blame the Prime Creator.
Always blame the Prime Creator. It's always his fault.
Yes. And, why is he saying he? That's a bit sexist.
It.
Yes.
Now we're being woke about the Prime Creator. Come on.
Well,
what if the Prime Creator's a tranny?
Yeah, well, that's part of the experience of being on Earth. It's like, constant bang, 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 bang. And it's like, well, this is what keeps popping up on my reality radar. And so, like when I say, I say Prime Creator, and then I go on for another 7 different labels. Prime Creator, God, the Flying Spaghetti Monster. However you want it, Source, which works well with the Prime Creator, with the Flying Spaghetti Monster. I do like I know it's the Native Americans or the First Nations, the Great Spirit, or the Great Mystery, and all that type of Prime Rib. Thank you, Sean. I like that. The Prime Creators are like, I've been having so much fun. I'm franchising my rib store. Prime Creator, Prime Ribs.
The best ribs in the universe.
Yeah. 2 for $1 Tuesdays.
Taken direct from Adam.
Yeah. And this one poor guy that's like, his annual was worse than you.
Exactly. He was a tough rib. He had no prime part in his ribs.
I've been watching a couple of documentaries. It's through a Christian lens, so I'm like, that's an interesting way of putting forward the information. But, you've got Genesis and then the Garden of Eden. And it's like, hang on, you're skipping about 300 billion years in the story. They created the universe. The universe was created, and God and Lucifer hanging out. Lucifer does something bad, gets kicked out. Half of eternity later, the Earth is formed. I'm like, wait. What happened in between?
What did Lucifer do?
Yeah, well, that's the other thing. Like I've mentioned to you, where they were going to make a movie of Paradise Lost, and obviously they don't want that information to come out because, there was a war in heaven. Why? There just was, all right.
No, because Lucifer was watching angel porn. He got caught masturbating without any sexual parts.
Yeah, and he wasn't screaming the creator's name.
Exactly.
Is that Nick Cage and Sonic the Hedgehog?
Yep.
That's a weird. That's a weird. Wow.
Thank you, Robert. Completely out of nowhere.
Thank you, Melinda. Sonic Cage. Ooh, is that the next step up from the new Cage?
Cage hog. Thanks.
Okay. Wow.
Exactly. Well, I was right.
Welcome to Earth in 2020, where anything can happen. Yeah, it doesn't make sense. Like,
where anything where anything can happen, but won't.
Yeah, the kicking of the can. Even that's like, I'm sure the writers suck. I mentioned to Andrew, I think it was this week, like I'm at the point where I want to go into the writer's room and go, will you people just do something? It's like, have you got
exactly. You guys are as bad as the Star Wars writers.
Yeah, this is not Lucasfilm. Come on.
Yes, you could do soap opera writing and we'll believe you, but this is worse.
And I find it yesterday we're talking about how we're getting to the point with me, like with Stan in South Park, where they did the 9/11 episode where George W. Bush was saying something and then Stan's like, really? I've added another one of like, it's like, this is happening. Okay. All right. It's either really or, it's like total acceptance or total blasé, or no acceptance, where it's like, really? Or,
Mm-hmm.
my response to the experience is like, that's polarized, where it's basically unbelievable or that's pathetic.
And it's just reached the point of idiocracy. Idiocracy. And that's what we have to deal with in the short term. Idiocracy is there to confuse us until they figure out who the new writers are.
Yeah, and it's even the false choice, which like the Matrix put forward. The problem is choice. Not really. We're given a false choice where it's like, what flavor ice cream do you love? Chocolate or vanilla? I want strawberry. No. Chocolate or vanilla? Strawberry. Chocolate, vanilla,
mint chocolate chip.
Yeah, I know. I like mint, the green one, and that's that controlling element of that false choice. Where do you want to be kicked in the nuts or punched in the face? I'd rather leave.
I'd rather not be a part of that. Exactly. Can I punch you back in the nuts?
Yes, I like when people put that philosophy question of like, okay, would you kill one child to save 13 adults? My question is like, how do they get into this position?
Yes. And why are you forcing me to make these evil choices?
Yeah,
why couldn't we rescue the child before this?
Yeah, maybe the bus driver shouldn't have had that 17 shots of tequila before he got into the bloody bus.
Yeah, exactly.
It really pisses off the people that it's like, no, kid, you have to choose. Well, and then they judge you for the answer. It's like, so you'll let 13 people die, but it's you'll kill a child. Let's go back to my first question of why am I in this situation?
Because you're part of the Great Awakening.
Yeah.
That's why. And you signed up for it.
Yeah, Bill Hicks has got
every one of you signed up for it.
Yeah, and it's fun. I've actually asked that question to Andrew. So why did we sign up to it? Because it'll be fun. It's me. Isn't it? Where's that spiritual mirror so I can Karen myself?
It's there waiting for you to look at yourself and care. I want to talk to my own manager.
Yeah, I want to have a good, hard word with myself.
Exactly.
Yes.
Wait a second. Myself's not listening. Why are you not listening to me, self?
I'm not talking to you. Why? Did something I say? Well, you are now. Stop it. And of course
exactly. Got you.
And because we're multidimensional, it's like, why do I have a 6D bus pass? Shh.
That's for your Karen, to get your Karen to go away.
Yeah. Still think we should have a T-shirt. It's me, isn't it? ?
Yes, it's always you. Oh boy, Monty, we have lived a year, a fucked up year.
It's a decade, yes.
A decade and a year, and who the fuck knows what's going to happen next? I don't perceive anything as happening. That's why I say everything's going to get the can kicked down the road, and in its own way, nothing happening is something happening while nothing is happening. Which gives everybody a chance to practice their spiritual disciplines while nothing is happening.
Unless there's a, what's the right word? Not probability, possibility in the where anything could happen. The Prime Creator does another pink. However, because we're thinking that, it's the Prime Creator's like, oh, bugger it. I'll have to think of something else now.
Prime Creator's got a lot on his plate right now. He's got a steak and rib joint running. He's got the Great Awakening. He's got the rest of the universe. He's got all these marketing people getting behind him.
What
He's
I
got
do like
the Galactic Federation of Light going, do something.
Dad.
Exactly. And then he's got the whole reptilians going, come on, Prime Creator, give it up. We want the position.
Yeah. All right, help me out here. I'll quickly do a review of what's happening in this moment now of creation. We know what's happening in the 3D because you can just watch the news and us, and it's like, well, this is just silly. Then we know that behind the curtain there's chicanery, and they're trying to figure out. You've got the level of the writers, like the management are trying to find out the new narrative, as well as you've got management. So management that are freaking out because the owners and the stockholders, there's schism with them where there's like a vote of no confidence. What outside of what's happening, you expand on the timeline outside of Earth, because it's that ripple effect, isn't there?
Yes.
Yeah.
Outside of Earth in the Earth solar system, well, the Earth solar system is affecting a lot of other places.
Yeah.
How do I describe what's going on?
Yeah, but you see you can see the thread that I was going with is like, Trump, Biden, whatever. Then you've got the writers going, how do we fix this? Then you've got the no confidence in Algartha. It's like, you lizards are idiots. And then the best way to describe it, there's about to be an immigration of 70 trillion beings to this local star sector. And who planned that?
70, well, it's been going on for millions of years.
Okay.
Whether the awakening happens or not, the 70 trillion beings are coming. Okay? They're all packed up in their RVs. Okay? And
we've invested good credits in this, and Joyce, we're going. Get the kids.
And they're going to come here, and nothing's going to stop them, even if they have to have their own separate bubble of reality.
No.
That's what's happening. Everyone's getting ready to they're just waiting for the gun to be shot like the Oklahoma Territory. waiting for the go.
Oh, nice. Okay. So, I mean, I can see when you find it difficult trying to explain it, because if you've got an immigration of that, well, depending on the star cluster that we're talking about, but the owners probably don't want, will they make it to Earth, or is it all outside?
It's Earth or bust, and all the other planets in this binary system, and then this star cluster of about 35 different stars in this cluster that we're in.
Yeah,
and a cluster, one part of the cluster could have 10 stars in a little spot. So it's really about 135 solar systems in the master cluster here.
And it's 70 trillion souls. Is that what you said?
Living beings and souls.
Yeah. So, yeah, well, that can spread out. There's still a lot, but that spreads it out. Will the owners just turn into that traditional old farmer, get the hell off my land?
Yeah, well, they're already trying to do that. No trespassing signs are up. The thing is, there's a giant a gateway here that takes you to a brand new galaxy that opened up about 200, 350 years ago.
Where's that in the 3D? Is that like the sun?
It's just to the right of Earth.
Just to the right.
Just to the right. Like
left.
Our solar system is the last stop, and then it's the gate. Okay. And that's the
great. We're
gateway.
terminus.
And what that gateway means, you don't have to spend 2 to 3 million years in the void between galaxies. You're on the other side. And it's a back and forth gateway. It's a two-way gateway. And then when you get to the end of that other galaxy over there, there's a portal to another universe. That's why so many beings are immigrating this way. And that's why the Earth star cluster is such prime territory.
And that reminds me of that meme of like, I get the feeling aliens wind up their windows and lock their doors when they go past Earth. So they're on the way to the portals. Like, I'm not going. Oh, geez.
No, there are a lot of them that want to be here because Earth is a crown jewel of a planet, and they're like, why the fuck's the lizards running it?
Did you look at the brochure? Right. I'm like, oh. So yeah, where the
it's like Kathleen Kennedy running Star Wars. You take her out. It's the same thing with the lizards. It's the metaphorical Kathleen Kennedy.
Yeah. So it's the last stop before last gas for 2 portals.
No, the last Disneyland. Haha.
Yeah. Yeah.
The last place to have some great spiritual experiences before you end your time in this universe.
That makes sense because can you imagine? It's like, what I did Earth, man. Let's go through the portal, and there's a newfound land where it's just
right.
Yeah. So, do you know what the parameters of the next galaxy is? Is it total free will? Is there? Is it more light and harmony? I'm not getting the right words, but
so all the shit they don't want happening in this universe anymore has been transferred to that next galaxy. They've been kicking out the those 15 multidimensional beings. All the negative time travel people have put into that new galaxy. Why? Because that's where they get to resolve all their stuff. And there's not one prime creator in that new galaxy. There's a collective council of 18 different prime creators from different universes who are there to manage the assholes who want to be assholes.
So it's like insane asylum, about a good one where they've got therapy.
Extremes of free will. The extremes of free will.
And it's a whole galaxy, so they can spread it out. So yeah.
Well, that galaxy expands and gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger the more light that immigrates to it.
Okay. And so once they've resolved their past discretions, they're allowed to move on to the next universe through that portal, or? Well,
it's not allowed. It's who gets there first.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's that whole like.
It's a race. It's a race. Okay. Yeah. It's a long, long, long race to get to that other portal. But that's the great competition of that galaxy. That's what that galaxy offers as an experience. There's thousands and billions and trillions of other galaxies to go to. The 70 trillion that are immigrating are going for that experience. They want to be on the hierarchical race to the next universe.
And also because this project on Earth has been going for so long, right. It's probably slightly easier, if that's the right word. Where it's
if Earth wasn't being run the way it is right now, the immigration would have happened 700 to 800 years ago.
Okay,
it already happened, but right now you've got a bunch of beings who are holding up the process. Just as the metaphorical Democrats are holding up the process for the Republicans, or the Republicans are holding it up for the Democrats. The metaphor also takes us one person to cock block everything.
That's not an option. That's a possibility. But when I say possibility, there's 3 trillion possibilities to unfold.
30 trillion. Let's expand that number there.
Yeah, fair enough. And so I hope this helps people. Where it's like, so I can see, I can feel some people are going, I just want to have a good life. You can, and that's where you do the self mastery, and you eventually tell the owners to piss off.
See, we could do that now. Yeah. It's just humanity doesn't believe they can do it now. But part of the Great Awakening is even during the shit of the lizards running everything, you can beat them. You can. You just got to learn how to do it within the system.
Yeah, and in a way, it's you don't use this. You use the system to get a certain point, and then you break away from the system, and that's kind of why they're trying to suppress, because we're equal power or more powerful than
way more powerful. That's why they're farming us.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to find that sole contractor lawyer of like, what the hell did I agree to? Like, you're going to go onto a planet, you'll experience, oh, that's awesome, and they'll suck the energy from you for 40 million years. Conjecture. That's, you know, it could, you know, being a soul at the start, that sounds good, but now we're at the end, I'm like, feel like I've been in a 16 rounds with Mike Tyson at his peak, and it's just a friendly. It's a friendly.
It's just a friendly, exactly.
Yeah, Mike's like, we're great. Like, I think he did a battle with someone. They've been trying to have that bout for 20 years, and they respect each other. And it's just to find out their ability and skill level. It wasn't that normal jibe talking and everything where I'm going to kick your ass. It's like, let's find out. So, yeah, a friendly with Mike Tyson. We should remember that. That's a good way of explaining spirituality a little bit on the planet.
Exactly.
Yeah, get the lizards to go vegan, and remember to have 40.
They don't like vegan louche.
This tastes funny.
It just doesn't have any calories behind it.
Yeah, it's a bit light.
It's a diet louche. What?
And there's a hint of ozone.
Yeah, there's a hint of free will in it too.
Oh, it's that galactic historian and the galactic comedian pissing me off again.
All right, Monty, we're at the end of this last show. We will be back.
Each different bubble of reality is true.
A galactic historian is a person that looks at all the lines of dramatic karma.
Nudge, nudge. It's the Holy Grail.
Improvise. Mysterious.
It's counter psychic intelligence.
Why is DNA farming of this star cluster so important?
Because we do manifest our reality. We do create our reality.
Hello. Let's create, let's co-create, and let's change this world with love. No matter if you're from Alpha Centauri or Earth, we all began with the same birthing process. We live in a limited point of view. Living the mystical life daily is about striving for the unlimited point of view. Each day, each human being gets an infinite amount of choices. Living the mystical life daily is about facing obstacles and challenges. The level of awareness that you are working at means you have a responsibility to be equal with it. How does one truly let go of expectation? You can make the moment that you wake up to the moment you go to sleep sacred. The keys to success: choice, 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 and choice.